Mike Owens with Inside Fighting, joined today by Charles Johnson, who returns to action March 1st, UFC Fight Night. Charles, always a pleasure, my man. How are your
Yeah,
emotions ahead of your return?
excited, man. I've been training hard at a new gym, um, working with Fusion Excel and Julian Williams, our head coach. And so I was only there for about a month before my fight with Sumudarji. I had just moved to Florida. So it was a lot of moving parts. I had a lot of things going on right before that fight, as well as the hurricanes
Mm.
happening and things like that at that time. So I've had a few months now to really dive into this camp and learn these systems a little bit better and just growing daily. So very excited about this fight and excited about the matchup, excited about the opponent, and to put on another dominating performance.
First question I have for you, because you had a couple of fights in sold out arenas last year. You had a couple of fights in the Apex last year. How do you feel
Yeah.
to be fighting behind closed doors again?
Um, I mean, it kind of comes with my activity, right?
Mm.
I was really hoping, to be booked since I did get booked in advance for this one to be booked in an arena. I feel like I've earned it. This will be my eighth fight of 11 in the Apex.
Mm.
I really, so that part, I like fighting in Vegas. I think, the Apex the flow of show, you know, is a lot easier because everything is situated right there for the UFC in the Apex. You just go in there, get your work done and head out. Everything's taken care of, and you don't pay taxes. It's Vegas,
Mm.
so that's nice. But I didn't get into MMA fighting not only to just fight in a warehouse.
Mm.
I want to fight in front of fans in arenas and get the full experience of this. So that part, um, you know, I just hope that I can get in more arenas this year and moving forward in my career a lot more. I feel like I'm a main card talent, and I feel like I've earned that.
Well, that was kind of one of the points I wanted to bring you back to, because I know it's unofficial at the moment, but the unofficial bout order has you as the first fight of the night. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but if so, how would you feel about being the curtain jerker, if you will?
It's weird. We all know that like a part of the business aspect of this is like you don't put a Bo Nickel as the first fight, even in his debut.
Hmm.
You don't put guys that um are highly talented or four fight win streaks. You don't see this happening.
Hmm.
Um, so it's either we want to get the show started with a bang with Charles, or it's a little weird placement. Regardless, I don't think that I should be. I've done that.
Hmm.
I've been that. I've done everything asked of me. I've literally done everything asked of me. And so stepped up on 2 days, 9 days, 11 days, 2 weeks. Like I have more fights in this promotion on short notice without a camp than I do having camps.
Yeah.
And I'm going on my 11th fight. And I fought going to be my eighth fight in the Apex. And so I've done everything asked of me. It's not like I haven't been a company man and I'm not in this sport to be a company man. I'm in it to take care of my family and pursue my goals, my dreams to be a world champion. So seeing myself placed as the first fight, one, it's in the Apex. So I'm like, all right, let's get in there and get the fuck out. Get to go watch the main event, which is a flyweight fight that I have my eyes on.
Hmm.
It was three flyweight fights on there, one dropped off. So I was excited about that because it was like a little mini flyweight Grand Prix,
Hmm.
and I didn't really care where I was placed. I was just happy to have a fight. But, seeing I'm the first fight, I'm kind of like just, I learned how to take things in stride. Obviously, the initial reaction is like, what? All right, but at the same time, it's like, all right, let's get in there, get our work done, head home with our money in our pocket and talk about getting a contract extension or getting a new contract because this is my last fight on my contract. So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I'm just excited to go in there and do what I've been training to do, which is dominate.
Talking about activity, I want to bring you on to your opponent, Ramazan Temirov. I think it's only his second fight in the UFC. You've obviously had a wealth of experience in the promotion. So first and foremost, your reaction to the actual matchup and how you see this as a skill perspective, and were you surprised with the matchup given your level of activity relative to his?
Yeah, I was really surprised with the opponent that was sent to me initially. They tried to match me with Tagir in January, but I was only allotted 4 days after my fight to answer that call. And before it was booked. And so they were trying to get that taken care of. I guess they wanted to get that locked in. And like I said, I had a lot of things going on. I had just moved to Florida and
Mm,
things going on with, it was just a lot of moving parts at the time. So um I wasn't afforded like enough time to give a proper answer to that fight because I had just fought Saturday, walking out of the cage. I got the opponent literally hands still wrapped, like gloves still on. Um, and by Wednesday, um, the fight was filled. And so for me, I reached back out Friday after talking to my team because I have a team in Michigan and Florida. I have coaches, I have a team, I have people, and I have a family to take care of, right? So like
mm,
for me, it's not just, yeah, we're gonna take that fight. Yeah, we're gonna take a fight. We're gonna take every fight. I'm gonna fight
mm,
anyone. I'm
mm,
not afraid to fight anyone. It's just like I need to make sure things are in place. This timeline sits well with us. We're good. Like I need to talk with my team, have the right conversations. I promised my head coach that I would never take a fight without speaking to him. So like I have to go
mm,
through my processes as well, and you know that fight didn't come to fruition for January, and then I was given this fight by that Monday, scheduled this fight.
mm,
So things happened fast. I was kind of trying to like take my time with it because it was a lot more fights scheduled for the year. It was still October. I wanted to fight 5 times last year. And so that was my goal I want to get a piece of history in the flyweight division. Nobody had done that. And I was trying to get a piece of history in the UFC books.
mm,
I was reaching for bigger things last year. I offered to fight short notice at 135 for a couple pullouts. I'm just trying to break the mold of um, build myself into a star, not only with my activity, not only by winning, dominating, but doing special things. And so that's where my mind was at with it. And so obviously, when this fight was presented to me, I wasn't excited about it much. I like the matchup. I like all matchups, but as far as what I've earned, I didn't think that it made sense. As far as business goes, I don't think it made sense, but everything makes sense when you're a fighter.
mm.
So you go out there, you take care of your family, you keep winning. And for me, it just go dominate. A guy who has a lot of fighting experience. He's fought in big promotions like Ryzen and Risen. I don't know how to pronounce it. And
Me neither.
you know, he has a lot of experience behind him, and he comes from a part of the country where those fighters are typically very well rounded. They understand the MMA game, and he himself, in particular, is on a 10-fight win streak, finishing guys in the first round, explosive guys. So it's a fun fight for me, and it's a fun matchup. And I'm excited about every matchup. So that's everything in a nutshell about the opponent that I ended up getting for this fight. And well, it hopefully after this one, we can sit down and get a new contract with the UFC.
100%. I remember the last time that we spoke, one of the topics that was on your mind is you felt like the work that you'd done warranted you a top 50 in ranking. Now you have that. How does it feel to have a number next to your name?
Yeah, yeah, it took long enough, but also, everything happens when it's supposed to happen, and I'm learning to like I love my journey. This last year and a half, I've really appreciated getting the opportunity to go out there and continually fight. A few didn't go my way, but I don't think that there's any like I'm not afraid to lose. I'm not afraid to risk things, and I'm not afraid to show my heart and show who I am in there. And a lot of guys are,
Mm.
and I've taken a journey that's put me in a position where you get through those things and you get to where I am now. It's going to be very hard for you to keep me from where I'm headed. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, um, the ranking was that validation of feeling I've been feeling for a couple years that it took some work to get to, some humps to get over, But where I am now, I don't think any guys that I've lost to can beat me moving forward. And I think that every single one of those fights, like every fight's tough, but every single one of those fights, I'm more prepared now than I've ever been. And I'm just a better fighter now than I was when I entered the UFC through my experiences. And so I'm just better, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about the next 3 years, man. Like any and every opponent, I feel strong. I feel like I'm coming into my prime now. I feel like I got 2, 3 good years to really push for a title. And so um rankings in the UFC flyweight division don't matter. Guys get shots that are unranked, guys get shots that are ranked 10th. So it's to dominate, put on a performance like Manel did his last fight against Bruno. It was phenomenal performance. And now he's up. He wins this one, he probably gets a title shot, regardless of the performance he puts on. If he wins this one, he's probably going to get a title shot based off his performance against Bruno.
Mm.
So you put out performances and things that make people excited. You're going to get opportunities. So that's what I'm focused on, dominating.
I know that when Brandon Royval fell out of the main event against Manel, I think I saw you on Twitter or some kind of social media say that you'd like that fight. Was the fight in
Yeah.
the main event against Manel Kape ever discussed?
Yeah, I messaged my matchmaker and he messaged me back that he was already on top of it. So I said, all right, thank you. If the opportunity presents itself, we'll be ready. I just always make sure he knows that I'm ready, prepared, I'm training. I'm not a stranger to 5 rounds. I'm not a stranger to main events. I'm not a stranger to main event in a card,
Mm.
So I've been doing it since I was an amateur. So for me, it's just about getting the opportunities.
When you look at the 125-pound division, obviously there's this fight coming up, which I'm sure is your focus. But have you almost plotted a course or a kind of have you plotted in your mind a way that you can climb these rankings to get to what is your ultimate goal of fighting for the belt?
Um, Not necessarily because these guys get hurt.
Mm.
They they're not available or the matchmakers have a plan in mind. So it doesn't matter what we want to do. It
Mm.
doesn't matter what I want, It really doesn't because whatever my matchmaker has in mind is what's gonna happen. So
Mm.
for me, it's just about continually showing the fans and the promotion and my matchmaker and doing what I'm supposed to do um on my end, which is going out there, winning and being the fighter that I am, which is exciting, always coming to fight, always showing his heart. And in every single fight, it's a great fight. So for me, it's just to focus on those things. It's not to focus on the opponents because I really feel that I could fight Pantoja next month and I could beat him. I really do feel that way. I feel I will beat him if I'm giving a main event against Pantoja. I just like my skill set versus his skill set, my length versus his length, my speed, my accuracy, my takedown defense, my jujitsu, everything, my anti jujitsu, like everything. I feel I match up well with him, but it's about getting an opportunity where I can get to that matchup. He may not even be the champion by the time I win 2 or 3 more fights. You just never know. These
Mm.
guys in this weight class are phenomenal. Every single one of them. Everybody is great at something. Everybody is a test. So for me, it's just about getting the opportunity because I feel like I'm prepared and I have all the skills to beat every single one of these guys wherever it needs. I find that chink in the armor and I press that every time. And I'm the most prepared and the most um and the best at it. I am the most prepared and the best at finding people's chink in their armor and have the cardio and skill set to make what needs to happen in the fight happen.
Before we finish, I actually wanted to get your thoughts on Alexandre Pantoja because I always like to get the thoughts of fighters in the top 10, top 15 when we have such a dominant champion as we do at 125 pounds. Take your
Yeah.
skills out of it for a second. What do you feel like would be the keys of a game plan that somebody, not necessarily you, but just somebody in general, would need to implement to have success and ultimately defeat the champion?
First you gotta have a great weight cut. You have a great 48 hours leading up to the fight. He always comes in prepared. He's always strong after the weight cut. He's always in phenomenal shape and able to push 5 rounds wherever the fight has to go. And so, first and foremost, you have to be prepared and you have to do all the necessary things that a champion has to do to fight a championship level fight. That comes before anything.
Mm,
That's with preparedness, skill set, and mindset. And then once the fight happens, in order to beat Pantoja, who was one of the greatest flyweight champions ever, you have to have understand where he is great and eliminate the opportunities for him to get to those great positions as much as possible while pressing where you feel you have your best skill set, your best advantages. That's the only way you can beat a guy like that. Alexandre Pantoja is the biggest bully of all champions. The way he fights is a bully style. He's pressing forward. He's going to run through you. He's going to press you with his jiu-jitsu. He's going to put you on the cage. He's going to work you to the mat. And he's going to take dominant top position. And he's going to work what he does best. So your job has to be to mitigate those things, right? And you have
mm,
to have the skill set, the preparedness, and all the other things that I just mentioned to go into that fight and confidently fight this man who's a world champion, who's proven it more times than not
mm,
that he is a world champion for a reason. And
mm,
so I don't think he's an easy task at all. And I don't speak about anybody like that, but I think it's a task that I can definitely accomplish and someone I can beat because I know me. I've done it. You know, I've prepared at that level. My mind is already there. And now it's about working through these other very tough tests to get there, right? But to beat a guy like Alexandre Pantoja, those are all things you have to do.
mm. Very well said. I think that's the best place for us to end. Charles, thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Always good seeing you back in action. Have a great and
Thank you,
safe rest of camp and best of luck for the next fight.
my man. Thank you, Mike Owens, and shout out to my team and everyone helping me prepare for this fight at Fusion XL, Murcielago MMA. Let's go, baby.